Welcome back to Beyond World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. White House has said talks with Iran are still on course. US President Donald Trump said the US is negotiating with Iran right now after Tehran demanded that planned talks be held in Oman, not Turkey, and that the scope be narrowed. Meanwhile, two incidents in West Asia threatened to derail the planned meetings. A US fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone flying near the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, while Iranian forces attempted to detain a US-flagged tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. At a time of heightened US military presence near Iran, China's ocean-going research vessel Dayang Yihao, or Ocean No. 1, has been operating in the Arabian Sea. According to a maritime analysis group affiliated with Stanford University, the ship has been surveying waters west of India since December 19th. A separate military observer says both vessels may have crossed paths in the vast ocean. However, the exact distance between the two ships is not known. China has maintained a restrained stance in Iran-U.S. tensions, warning the law of the jungle and opposing the use or threat of force in international relations. It's day 2 since the Rafah border opened, allowing passage of Palestinians from Gaza into Egypt. The reopening, demanded by the United Nations and aid groups, is a key part of the second phase of US President Donald Trump's truce plan for Gaza, where humanitarian conditions remain dire even after 2 years of war. The number of patients allowed to enter Egypt through the crossing was limited to 50. Many have also been able to reach and return from Nasser Hospital in Gaza's Khan Yunis. Rafah is Gaza's only crossing point to the outside world for most of the enclave's more than 2 million residents and has been largely closed during the war. Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi and once considered his heir apparent, has been killed in the North African country. Saif al-Islam was 53 years old. Libyan officials say Saif was killed in the town of Zintan, southwest of the capital Tripoli, though the circumstances of his death remained unclear. Local media reported that armed men entered his home and killed him. Prosecutors are now investigating the killing. Saif al-Islam was long seen as the reformist face of the Gaddafi regime. He played a prominent role in shaping policy before the 2011 uprising that toppled his father. Russia has conducted its most powerful attack of year on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Power generation and distribution facilities came under attack and thousands of people were left without electricity. Russian strikes have killed 2 teenagers in Zaporizhia as well as damaged Soviet-era World War II monument. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine will support any de-escalation efforts. At a joint press conference with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Kyiv, Zelensky said that all parties will focus their discussions on the information provided by the Russian side in the new round of trilateral talks between the Ukraine, US and Russia, which will be held in the UAE. Earlier, US President Donald Trump had urged Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the nearly 4-year Ukraine war, after Moscow resumed its attacks on Kyiv following a week-long cold weather halt. Zelensky had said that Ukraine was waiting for America's reaction to Russia's overnight attack on his country's cities that caused further damage to its energy infrastructure. US President Donald Trump has called for Americans to move on from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. He had been cleared by the latest release of millions of documents. However, advocates claim many more documents are still being withheld, calling for further disclosures after Trump's Justice Department released more than 3 million files last week. Poland Prime Minister Donald Tusk has said he will launch an investigation into possible links between sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Russian intelligence, as well as any impact on Poland. Tusk said authorities would establish a team to investigate any potential fallout in Poland from Epstein's crimes, in particular in relation to what he said was possible involvement by Russian secret services. Russia has not commented on the Epstein files. The Russian embassy in Warsaw did not immediately respond to an earlier request for comment. US President Donald Trump signed a spending deal into law that ends a partial US government shutdown and gives lawmakers time to negotiate potential limits on his immigration crackdown. The legislation restores lapsed funding for defense, healthcare, labor, education, housing, and other agencies. It also temporarily extends funding for the Department of Homeland Security until February 13th. Funding for those agencies expired as Congress did not act in time to avert a shutdown, which has not resulted in major disruptions for government services so far. Last week, Trump negotiated the spending deal with Senate Democrats, who are demanding new restraints on immigration enforcement. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, said she spoke to US President Donald Trump and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in a phone call. She emphasized the need for mutual respect and a constructive agenda despite ongoing differences between the two countries. Rodriguez, accompanied by her brother and Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello, made the remarks at Miraflores Palace in Caracas. She underscored the importance of respecting international law and building dialogue based on historical diplomatic ties. The comments come as Venezuela navigates a complex political transition exactly 1 month after Nicolas Maduro's capture. Thousands of government supporters marched through Caracas demanding the release of Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores, marking 1 month since their capture by the United States military forces. The mobilization was organized by the United Socialist Party of Venezuela. It drew members of the Bolivarian militia, along with supporters carrying signs and wearing shirts calling for the couple's return. Protesters displayed images of Maduro depicted as a superhero character and held provocative banners. Lawyers for a California man killed by an off-duty US ICE agent outside his apartment on New Year's Eve asked the state's Attorney General to open an independent investigation into the death. Porter, a 43-year-old father of two, was shot and killed in Los Angeles on December 31st. Many details of the shooting remain unclear. The district attorney's office added it does not release information on pending investigations. However, his case is becoming part of the national debate over ISIS tactics. Following the shootings of US citizens Rene Good and Alex Pretty by ICE officers in Minneapolis in the past few weeks. Colombian President Gustavo Petro met US counterpart Donald Trump at the White House. Both leaders said the talks went well. The meeting marked the first in-person encounter between the two leaders. The Colombian president said they discussed possible paths forward, although they were not on the same page on every issue. Trump and Petro have had a frosty relationship in the recent past, but the meeting suggested a potential thawing of the ties. When asked about US sanctions, Petro claimed they were not brought up. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has met US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Washington. This came a day after Trump announced that India and the US agreed to a trade deal under which Washington will bring down reciprocal tariffs on Delhi from 25% to 18%. Both Jaishankar and Rubio discussed formalizing bilateral cooperation and critical minerals exploration as well as mining during their meeting. Jaishankar will also attend Critical Minerals Ministerial convened by Rubio later today and hold meetings with senior members of the US administration. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's PTI has reportedly accused police of subjecting its workers to violence and arresting them near Rawalpindi's Adiala jail, where they were staging a sit-in. The Islamabad High Court was allowed Imran twice a week meetings with his family, lawyers and other associates. Despite the order, the ex-premier has not been allowed any visitors for weeks, including his sisters and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Sohail Afridi. Protests and sit-ins near the Adiala jail, where Imran has been incarcerated since September 2023, have become routine. Police have also used force to disperse the protesters. The countdown to Japan's snap election is set to end this week when country goes to polls on the February of 8th. The elections are a do-or-die battle for country's first female Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi. Her political future hangs by a thread. She vows to step down if her coalition fails to get absolute majority. According to the latest polls, Takaichi is on course to secure a landslide win. If polls are to be believed, her personal clout has overshadowed party's poor popularity. The ruling coalition is projected not just to surpass the majority mark, but would cross 300 seats in the lower house. Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla hosted a reception for local and regional employees at St. James's Palace in London. According to local media reports, the reception was held to thank the workers for their efforts in the local communities. Among the 350 attending the event were public health workers, social workers, head teachers and staff involved in protecting women from violence. Former Thai Prime Minister Abhisit Vejjajiva campaigned ahead of the February 8th general election. The 61-year-old Oxford-trained economist has made an unexpected comeback to frontline politics. In the 2019 general election, the party won just 52 of 500 seats, leading Abhisit to step away from politics. Abhisit's comeback after serving as premier from 2008 to 2011 has fueled a revival of his Democrat Party, reshaping an electoral contest that once looked set to be a three-way tussle between the ruling Bhumje Thai Party, the Progressive People's Party and the populist Pheu Thai Party. At least 16 people died after a bus carrying pilgrims overturned in the municipality of São José da Tapera in Brazil's northeast. Authorities say the vehicle was transporting about 60 passengers. The survivors were rescued from the wreckage and taken to hospitals across the region. The victims were returning to Alagoas after participating in the pilgrimage. At least 15 people have been killed in collision between a speedboat carrying migrants and a Greek Coast Guard patrol vessel off the island of Chios. A Coast Guard official says they spotted a dinghy towards Chios, which lies a few miles off the coast of Turkey, and ordered them to turn back. The cause of the collision is yet to be determined. Search and rescue operation with patrol boats, helicopters and divers are underway. Fierce winter weather brought air traffic at Frankfurt Airport to a short standstill. Some departing flights were cancelled, while some arriving ones were sent to other airports. Frankfurt Airport said traffic was back to almost half the normal capacity after clearing the runways of snow. It had advised travellers to arrive well ahead of the time of their flights. Meanwhile, the German Weather Service issued a warning for northwest and southwest Germany, saying that snowfall, black ice and strong winds were spreading over the region. Authorities and local media reported dozens of traffic accidents due to extreme weather conditions. At least 35 people have died in snow-related accidents over the last 15 days across Japan. The highest death toll was seen in Niigata Prefecture with 12 fatalities. The central government has deployed troops to help residents in Aomori, the heaviest hit region, where as much as 4.5 meters of snow remains on the ground in remote areas. Prime Minister Saif Takaichi held a special cabinet-level meeting to instruct ministers to do all they can to prevent deaths and further accidents. Asian markets mostly moved lower on Wednesday in early trading, tracking losses on Wall Street as a sharp pullback in U.S. technology stocks weighed on risk appetite. Japan's Nikkei is down nearly 1%, dragged down by chip-related names, while the broader topics also declined. Indian markets turned volatile after a strong rally, with the Sensex opening in the red, but soon turning green, which is similar to the Nifty index. Hong Kong and mainland China stocks edged lower, reflecting cautious sentiment. In contrast, South Korea's Kospi and Kosdaq posted modest gains, and Australia's market reversed earlier losses to finish higher. Gold prices jumped more than 2% on Wednesday, extending a powerful rally after posting their biggest daily gain since 2008 in the previous session. Spot gold rose above $5,040 an ounce, supported by bargain hunting and a softer US dollar, which makes bullion cheaper for overseas buyers. The move follows a sharp rebound from recent lows, even after prices hit record highs last week. Sentiment was also helped by an end to the partial US government shutdown, though key US jobs data remains delayed. Investors continue to price in Federal Reserve rate cuts in 2026, a backdrop that typically favors non-yielding assets like gold. Other precious metals also advanced, with silver, platinum, and palladium all posting solid gains. Oil prices climbed on Wednesday, extending gains from the previous session as fresh security incidents in West Asia revived concerns about a potential escalation between the United States and Iran. Brent crude rose about 1% to nearly $68 a barrel. Markets reacted after the US military shot down an Iranian drone near a US aircraft carrier, and Iranian gunboats approached a US flagged tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. Support also came from industry data showing a sharp drop in US crude inventories, ongoing geopolitical risks including uncertainty over US-Iran talks and the Russia-Ukraine war. They continue to underpin oil prices. The US dollar was steady on Wednesday as markets digested the swift end to a partial government shutdown and continued to price in expectations for Federal Reserve policy under incoming Chair Kevin Walsh. The dollar index hovered near a one-week high, supported by views that Walsh is unlikely to push for aggressive rate cuts. The yen wobbled near a two-week low ahead of Japan's national election this weekend, with investors wary that a strong showing by Prime Minister Saif Takaichi could pave the way for fiscal stimulus and more pressure on the currency. The euro and sterling were steady ahead of ECB and Bank of England policy decisions, while the Australian dollar held firm after a surprise rate hike. Amazon has flagged long power grid connection delays as a major challenge to its data center expansion plans in Europe. The company said that getting connected to Europe's electricity transmission network can take up to 7 years, far longer than the around 2 years needed to build a data center. Amazon Web Services said grid connection timelines have become one of the key deciding factors for future investments. The European Commission has proposed legal changes to speed up grid permits and modernize power networks, with talks ongoing among EU countries and lawmakers. TikTok has recovered from a brief drop in US users following its ownership change to a group of American investors. Data from similar web shows daily active users fell to between 86 and 88 million, down from an average of 92 million. Usage has since rebounded to above 90 million, suggesting most users returned to the platform. A temporary dip benefited rival apps Upscrolled and Skylight Social, which saw short-term growth. Upscrolled peaked at 138,500 daily users before falling back to 68,000. PayPal has appointed HP chief Enrique Lores as its new CEO and president, replacing Alex Chris after the board flagged slow execution and pace of change. Lores, who has served as PayPal's board chair since July 2024, will take over the role, while CFO and CEO Jamie Miller steps in as interim CEO. The leadership change comes as PayPal reported lower than expected fourth quarter revenue and profit amid weak consumer spending. PayPal also forecast a decline in full-year profit, triggering a nearly 18% drop in its shares in pre-market trading. Arsenal have booked their spot in the EFL Cup final by beating Chelsea 1-0 at the Emirates Stadium. Leading 3-2 from the first leg, the Gunners had to wait until the 97th minute to seal the win. Substitute Kai Havertz scored the only goal of the match against his former club. Arsenal will play Manchester City or Newcastle in the final on March 22nd. Arsenal are now just one win away to claim a third EFL Cup title. They previously lifted the trophy in 1987 and 1993. It would be a second trophy under manager Mikel Arteta, who led the club to the FA Cup title in his first season. Delhi Capitals have secured a place in the WPL final for the fourth consecutive year with a 7-wicket win over the Gujarat Titans. The victory sets up a final clash against Royal Challengers Bengaluru on Thursday. Gujarat Giants posted 168 for 7 after being sent into bat first. In reply, the Capitals made a flying start as openers Lizelle Lee and Shefali Verma shared a 94-run opening partnership. Captain Jemima Rodriguez contributed 41, while Laura Woolwart's unbeaten 34 guided the Capitals to victory with 26 balls to spare.